It's debatable here on MLBBro.com.
What's the deal, boys and girls? It's the OG Mark Gray. That is Manny Ramirez Brown. Welcome to Debatable. And there is no debate on this one, Manny. Bottom line is, the New York Mets should have retired Darryl Strawberry's number a long time ago. So I'm going to channel my LeBron James inner child and go, it's about damn time. But how do we remember Straw? I mean, here's another superstar Hall of Fame type talent that when you look back, because of the complexity of his circumstance, that it's really another one of those net players like Doc Gooden, who you just think, wow, did he fully reach his potential?
No. To answer your question, how we remember Darryl Strawberry is one of the biggest what-ifs in baseball history. It's amazing how much interlocked are the careers of Doc and Darryl. I mean, they're just synonymous. You can't mention one without the other. And I think they're just the biggest case examples of too much too fast, too much too soon. And both guys came up early 20s and had the world at the palm of their hands, and they just mentally weren't ready. And I think they were just ingested by the places in which they played. You know as well as I. You being the OG, New York City back in the 70s and 80s was a total
and the early 90s too. Yes, sir.
Yeah, exactly. It was a different world than what we know it as today. And there's just two young guys that just had a lot of demons and a lot of things going on outside of the field that really kept them from really being the players that they could have been.
The benchmark for most Hall of Famers is if you hit the holy grail of 400 home runs, you're pretty much considered, with his entire body of work, almost a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame. I just think that sometimes you have to, look a little bit past the off-the-field stuff. Give him credit for what he did. 335 home runs, tremendous all-around play in terms of stolen bases, great defense, part of 2-3 championship teams. I mean, to me, his legacy is certainly, it's almost at all-time superstar level, but certainly for his era, you have to rank him as one of the great superstars of his generation.
Absolutely. Keyword there is superstar. Superstar. Darryl Strawberry was a superstar. He was a magnet. Anytime you brought up that name, for whatever side of the fence you stood against, whether you supported Darryl or you hated Darryl Strawberry, all of those things, he was a superstar. He was a lightning rod for comedy. I mean, imagine if Darryl Strawberry and Doc had social media. They would literally be trending topics every day.
Every day. And the funny thing is, if you weren't in the New York area, you had to watch them on, what was that superstation? WOR? WWOR?
Yeah, WOR.
All right. Yep. So they became superstars at the advent of cable. And a lot of people look at what happened with Superstation TBS and the Braves, but they were bad when the Mets were good. Yeah. And Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden were must-see. Anytime that you had cable TV, and I was one of the first people that got it in my neighborhood, and the Mets were on, you wanted to be...
They were must-see TV.
You know something? They were really damn good individual players, but if they had not had the curveballs thrown to them by life, imagine how we would be talking about them as a duo all time.
And I'm also glad that the conversation around them and what they went through has changed. Now, as a society, we're much more understanding about mental health and specifically the issues that affect drug addiction and mental health. So I'm just glad that conversation has changed, because for a long time, when I was young, when I was a kid, Doc and Darryl were looked at as pariahs. And now the conversation is completely flipped on them. And like you said, numbers should have been retired 20 years ago.
It should have.
Put it that way.
Yeah. So you think does either one of them get their number retired by the Yankees? You think they're going up in the Bronx?
Nah, I think they're more Mets. I think most people associate them with Mets.
Got more rings with the Yankees, though.
More rings with the Yankees, but Darryl was seen as kind of an ancillary player with the Yankees. He was a big part of that team, but he was more of a role player.
He was a leadership guy, but he played big.
Yeah, he played big, but no, I think they're more associated with the Mets. I don't think the Yankees would retire their numbers.
For more right now, go to MLBBro.com.